Acne is something that is so common with so many women. I think so many people are led to believe that we just need different products to put on our skin, or maybe we need to stop eating dairy. And although those things are really helpful and really important, I just want to share a few things worth considering if you're struggling with acne beyond products and food. Most people only think about topical products and food when it comes to understanding what's triggering their acne. But really, there are so many other things that can be contributing. I just want to take this from the perspective of other things that may be contributing to imbalances or deficiencies or toxicities inside of your body that are manifesting as acne on your skin or contributing to acne on your skin. So I'm not treating acne per se. I just want to offer some other things to consider that could be contributing to imbalances in your body that are worth looking into. You might be thinking that the acne on your face or your back is caused solely by a specific food that you're eating or a product that you're missing in your lineup. But really, there are so many other things that can contribute to imbalances in your body that manifest as acne. I have struggled with acne for years. This was one of the very first hormonal symptoms I started experiencing when I was probably 13 or 14 years old. I started getting acne on my back, and it was very confusing. I feel like nearly every pharmaceutical that they'll prescribe you, with the exception of Accutane. I didn't do Accutane, but I did use birth control, spironolactone, benzoyl peroxide, tretinoin, antibiotics, medical grade skincare, all of these things to try to get my skin to stop producing acne. It feels like I tried nearly everything of what you hear as common things that we use to try to get rid of acne, especially in young girls. And while a lot of them worked off and on, I will say that none of them worked long term. And I also didn't love the side effects that I was experiencing from most of these things. So then I started cutting out foods, thinking that there was a specific food that was triggering my acne. But that also felt very confusing. I didn't have the experience that by cutting out gluten solely or cutting out dairy solely, that it completely made my acne go away. I'm not saying that some of those things weren't contributing to inflammation and that inflammation was leading to acne, but it didn't completely get rid of acne for me by cutting out gluten alone. So then I started learning about, okay, what are other things that contribute to imbalances in my body that manifest or contribute to acne? When we're struggling with acne, it feels so defeating. Like that's the first thing that you see in the morning when you look in the mirror, and you often find yourself picking and you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop picking. And then before you know it, you're prying at your skin again. And it feels like it's the only thing that everybody else notices, that like you have this giant zit on your face. It feels very hopeless. When you've struggled with acne for a long time, it feels very out of control. And when it starts to get better, you're just waiting for it to come back again. It also can be really painful and hard to ignore when you have big zits on your face that are really deep. And when we're feeling lost in what's contributing to acne, it can feel like everything is causing acne or nothing seems to be the smoking gun. And oftentimes we find ourselves saying, like, I don't know what's causing this. I don't know what's contributing to it. I don't know what to do. Nothing seems to be working. It can feel so defeating. I know I often found myself saying, like, I just can't seem to get a handle on this. And everything seems to be causing acne, yet nothing at all seems to be the one thing that I can put a finger on that's causing acne for me. I know a lot of us think a lot of things that we don't say out loud, especially when we're struggling with acne. You might notice yourself thinking, if I could just heal this acne, then I'll finally feel confident. Then I'll finally go make new friends or meet a significant other or take the risk with my job. You might find yourself thinking, why doesn't my skin seem to work like everybody else's? Why does my skin seem to be so sensitive to everything? You might find yourself thinking, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with my skin? Why can't I just get this under control? You might even find yourself thinking, acne is the only thing that people see. Everyone looks at me and the first thing they notice is acne and they can't see past it. Everyone's judging me. I would be so much prettier if I didn't have acne. Everyone else is noticing acne on my face too. And a lot of times we're making it mean something so much deeper, that we're not good enough, that something is wrong with our bodies, that our value is tied to whether or not we have acne, that nobody else can see if our character is good or bad because acne is in the way, that nobody else can actually get to know us because acne is in the way. A lot of times we're making it mean that we would finally be happy if we just didn't have acne on our face, and so many things in our life would get so much easier. And what might actually be underneath all of this frustration and confusion and hyperfixation on our skin is feeling like we don't have any confidence because our skin is constantly broke out. Like our self-worth is down the drain because all we see is acne. There's a chance you might be feeling really held back by how your skin looks. And like so much of your energy goes into trying to figure out what's wrong with your skin. By fixing the acne, we're really just trying to feel more confident, more understanding of our body. Like we know what's contributing to it and what's not. And we're really just trying to get to a solution, right? So that we can think about other things in our life and stop letting acne hold us back from things. I just want to challenge you here because maybe the way you're thinking about acne is right, but maybe there's more to consider. Maybe focusing on topicals and food is a part of the problem to consider. But maybe there's other things that are contributing to imbalances in your body that are worth exploring at least. It might not just be about the topicals and the food. It might also be about something much deeper. There are a lot of other things that we can consider. Acne does feel confusing when we're struggling with it. So I just want to share a few other things worth considering that can contribute to imbalances in our body that show up as acne on our skin. I like to look at this with a very holistic or integrative approach and just look at all of these different components that can contribute to imbalances or deficiencies or toxicities in our body. One area that can make a huge difference is exploring gut health. When I was struggling with imbalances in my gut, I was noticing a lot of acne, especially around my mouth. It can be worth exploring doing actual hormonal testing so you know if your hormones are where they should be and if there's anything you can do to support hormone production and metabolism based on your own lab results. So some of that can uncover how your body is producing and utilizing hormones. Many different hormone imbalances can contribute or manifest as acne. For myself, the way my body was metabolizing testosterone made me more susceptible to having acne and acne on my back. Other things worth exploring are stress. I know that this is not one that we want to hear and it feels like, yep, that's not my problem. But for so many people, we notice things pop up on our skin when we're in higher stress periods. Another one is sleep. How are we sleeping? Sleep is a foundational thing that contributes to our overall health and is a really important time for detoxification and restoration. Another thing worth exploring is blood sugar regulation. Again, for myself here, I'm mostly speaking from my own experience and just sharing some things worth exploring and considering for you. But for myself, my blood sugar was all over the place. And now to this day, I notice if I go through periods of time where I can feel my blood sugar kind of bouncing all over the place, I get really shaky and jittery. I also notice that I see zits pop up on my face. So that's 5 things. And then again, topicals and food really can matter. So you want to work with someone who really knows what they're doing to support you externally. And so you can make sure that there's not products contributing to acne or products you could integrate that could be really helpful, because sometimes it is a topical thing that can move the needle a lot. And then food also matters. We want to make sure that we're not eating something that is causing acne on our skin. So those are really foundational things, yes, and something that we kind of look into first. But I just want to offer that there are a lot of other things if you're feeling stuck that you could consider looking into. So a more supportive approach is start with something easy. Start by making sure that there's not foods that are contributing to it. You might start by working with an esthetician to make sure that the topical things you're doing are supporting your skin. And you might look into the foundations. Okay, am I doing the foundational things to support health? Sleep, movement, a really nutrient-dense diet, stress management. And then you might go a layer deeper and you might look into gut health, hormone health, and understanding how those things may be contributing to acne for you. So what does this look like in real life? The first thing that I would go back and tell myself is stop obsessing, because we know that when we focus on our acne, it generates more fear, which moves our body into fight or flight, which causes us to focus on the acne even more. And we get stuck in this fear-focused loop where we're just fixated on the acne on our face. So that's the first step. So much easier said than done, I know. And then another really practical step is finding someone who can help guide you through this, whether that's an esthetician or a health practitioner or a doctor. Having someone to kind of help navigate some of this can take some of the pressure off of you. And the last really practical way to integrate this is making it really simple. So I know that all of this seems very complicated, but if we change 12 things at one time, it gets very confusing really quickly. So focusing on understanding one thing at a time can really help simplify it so that we're not hyper fixating on the problem being acne and changing 12 variables and getting really confusing signals. This approach feels really unnatural because our health and our skin does feel complicated sometimes, especially if we know that it's not topical and it's not food that's contributing to my acne. Then we're like, well, now what? The signals feel really confusing. That's why this approach can feel really unnatural. When the signals are all over the place, it feels confusing about what we should do. Another reason this feels really unnatural or counterintuitive is because there are thousands and thousands of people online trying to sell us thousands and thousands of products that will fix our skin. While topical products or one specific thing may help some people, there are a lot of things that are worth exploring when we feel confused and that one thing doesn't resolve our acne. We've also been really conditioned that somebody else has the answer, that the esthetician or the health coach or the doctor or the dermatologist can just fix our acne. And although they have a lot of tools that can help, it takes a lot of the agency away from us and puts a lot of power in somebody else's hands. We're also really convinced that our health needs to be really complicated and that solutions to these things are really complex and they're way out of your reach and you should just hire somebody else. And what I will say about that is I think there are so many things that we can do ourselves. There are so many things that we can learn and implement that help us understand our bodies better. And so while hiring somebody can help kind of cut out some of the noise and give you clear steps forward, there are also so many things that we can do on our own to learn about our bodies. So I'm not suggesting that you just need to hire somebody else to fix this problem. And our brain wants to default back to focusing on the acne as the problem because we spent a lot of time picking ourselves apart. We've spent a lot of time hyperfixating on our skin and really believing that if we could just fix our skin, so many things would get better. And we're just constantly searching for the one missing piece, the answer that's going to fix it all. And when we've spent this much time practicing this, it's so much easier for our brain to default to this. And so when we wake up first thing in the morning, it's almost a habit to start picking at our skin and then hop on Instagram and figure out what product we're missing or what somebody else suggests looking into. A few questions that can help us navigate this are just take a step back and think about what has worked for me in the past and what hasn't. This kind of helps get clear on where there may be some big question marks and where there's some clarity already. Then you might ask, have I explored topicals? Have I worked with a licensed esthetician or a dermatologist that can kind of help me navigate that world? Then maybe you go into, okay, are there foods that could be triggering acne for me? A lot of really common ones for people that contribute to acne are gluten, dairy, sugar, corn, caffeine. Those things are common triggers for people. Then you move into, okay, am I showing up for the foundations consistently? Am I getting good sleep? Am I moving my body? Am I doing something to manage stress? Am I eating a nutrient-dense diet? Am I spending time outside and connecting with people? Those foundational things, doing small things in those areas, are what you're going to have to come back to regardless of what you find out from any sort of lab test. And then maybe exploring lab testing can be really helpful. Some gut microbiome testing, some hormone testing, and maybe you insert that somewhere else, but this is just a helpful series of questions worth asking yourself. And then maybe you want to ask yourself, do I need additional support? Would hiring somebody here be helpful? I have resources I can look at for free that help me learn more, or would hiring someone to help kind of guide me through this help me a lot in this situation? I just want to offer you this reframe that perhaps by approaching your acne with this more integrative approach could help you understand imbalances that could be contributing to acne, especially if you're feeling really stuck and food and topicals haven't been the smoking gun for you. If this resonates with you, I invite you to just consider these areas. Consider if they're worth exploring for you. Consider if it feels like you need some additional support or resources to help you navigate this and learn more about some of these other areas that can contribute to imbalances in your body that manifest as acne. In an upcoming video, I'll be talking about the things that actually moved the needle for me when I was struggling with PCOS. And acne was one of the major symptoms I was experiencing during that time. So I invite you to follow along because there might be more in that video that's worth exploring too.